You are listening to the Intuitive Healing Connection. Hi, my name is Gina Stroll, and I am your host. I am best known as the down-to-earth intuitive healer that doesn't sugarcoat the truth. I walk my clients through the healing process and help them heal from their past so that they can find peace and joy again. If you are interested in healing your past, tapping into your spiritual side to receive your own answers, finding your own clarity, and discovering your own wisdom, then you are in the right place. I am here to lead the way and help you discover your intuitive connection.
Hello, my friend. I'm so excited for today, and we're going to do some more talking about guides. That has been a hot topic in my little bit of the world here, and as I've started talking about it, it has raised a lot of questions and brought up a lot of excitement about, oh my gosh, let's talk about connecting with our guides. So if you caught my last podcast, I kind of talked about what guides are, what they do for us, how they help us, and 3 out of the 5 main guides that we have. So this time I want to talk about really how we can connect with them and how we learn different things about them. So first off, like I said in the last podcast, we have a team of guides. It's not just one to me. It's not just one person. It's a team. It's kind of my team overseeing my project. Me. I'm the project. And so I have this team of people working together to help me here. One of the questions that I get a lot, and Spirit just dumped it into my head, is can my family, my physical family that has passed on and passed away, be one of my guides? The answer is yes. But I believe that our spirit team is consisted of some people who probably haven't been our family in this lifetime. They may be part of your family realm, but most of the time they are someone that is not your grandpa, it's not your grandma. Now, it's not to say that they are not part of your spirit team, because I absolutely believe our family is part of our spirit team. They're just not necessarily part of this higher vibration team that you have going on. I believe that they come in to support us. Who better than to come and support you than grandma or great grandma, or, that aunt that you absolutely loved here in the physical world and she's passed on. And, especially when I was doing mediumship or you receive a mediumship reading, who better to support you in this world than those people who you know and understand? This guide team that I'm talking about, though, is not necessarily those. It's not that they can't be, it's just that usually they're not. Like I said, your family is part of your spirit team. I don't doubt that. But when I'm talking about, last week we talked about the joy guide, your main guide, these are usually people who have, in my experience, lived a past lifetime with you. They understand your soul's mission. They have agreed to come on and help you in spirit understand your spirit here in the physical world, and therefore help you with your purpose, help you with the things that are going on in your life here and now, and help you really remember who you are while you're here in the physical. So I just wanted to clarify that. That's a question that I get asked a lot. And so, yes, they are probably part of your spirit team. Are they part of this main spirit team like these? Probably not. But everybody is different, and you can figure it out for yourself. I know when I first started working with guides, I thought that my family member was my main guide, which was fine. He was playing that role for me because that's what I understood at the time. That was the level that I was at to understand that. So it's not that he wasn't doing that for me. He was the one that I was seeing step in whenever I had questions, whenever I had things going on, whenever I needed some help. That was who I was seeing and feeling, which is perfectly fine. I think wherever you're at along the journey, as we do more healing work and as we really step into this personal development and physical development, I believe that changes for us, and we step up into these higher vibration guides those are the ones that I'm talking about. So like I say, it's not that they can't be there, but usually these higher vibration I look at people like, I don't know if you know Mavis Patilla. She passed away this last year. She is definitely somebody's higher guide team. If you don't know her, she was one of the longest living mediums. She studied mediumship for, I don't know, she had 50, 60 years worth of mediumship underneath her belt when she passed away. Do you think she's someone's mediumship guide? You better believe it. She's probably multiple, I would say multiple, someone's multiple mediumship guide. So she would definitely, to me, be seen as in that higher realm, that higher vibration. She's probably laughing at me as I say that, but it's people like that could that someone's grandma be stepping in and helping them with their mediumship? Absolutely. Like, anyway, that's a whole other, let's talk about these higher vibration guides. So we're all physical and spiritual, and in the spiritual part of ourselves, it interacts with other spirits. And we can totally, I believe, as a medium, interact with the spirit world. Everybody can do that. There's some controversy over that. I disagree. I taught mediumship. I studied mediumship. I was a student teacher for mediumship. I went through a lot of years of mediumship, and I believe that we can all be taught how to connect with spirit if you choose it. If you decide that's what you want to do. Is it an easy life? I don't think so. But how better to learn your lessons if that's how you choose to do that than to step into the realm of connecting with spirit. I believe we can all learn to do that. But it's also important as we're doing this work to really learn to connect with our own spirit. And I believe that's what our guide team is here to help us do, is help us remember what it's like to be in our own spirit and really connect with that part of ourselves. When you know your own spirit, you can begin to see yourself as eternal, view things from an internal and view things from an eternal perspective. Because I think that's very important along any healing journey or doing anything like that, that we really learn to view ourselves not just in the here and now, not just in all the crazy things that are going on around you, but understanding that there's a much bigger purpose out there, that we have a bigger purpose than just to come here and pay bills and die, for God's sakes. Like, there's so much more to this life than that. So it's, as we learn to connect with ourselves on that spiritual level, it becomes easier to connect with those in spirit. So as we learn to set in our vibration, you hear a lot of people talk about this higher self. As we can learn to connect with that higher self part of us, that spirit part of ourselves, really set in that energy, feel that energy, know that energy. It makes it easier to then go on and connect with the spirit world, and then go on and connect with our guides. Now, when we talk about connecting with these kind of high vibing guides, our spiritual guides are definitely highly evolved souls, so their vibration is much higher than ours. When I start teaching people to connect with spirit, that's one thing that they notice. Sometimes your heart rate kind of starts jumping. You can feel that. It's almost like they kind of pull you up to their level. That's perfectly normal. For some people, they get a little bit weirded out by that. They think something's wrong. That's a perfectly normal thing to happen, but we have to learn to build ourselves up to that a little bit. I know when I first started studying with my guides, I would kind of get that spiritual high. For those of you who have sat in meditation or really connected with that higher vibration, you know what I'm talking about. It's really that spiritual high. We kind of enjoy being there. I call it the spiritual drug, kind of. For me, it's like I could spend all day, every day, all there, and not want to put my foot back down on the ground and ground myself back in the ground. That feels really good to me. I love that energy. I love floating in that energy. That's what it feels like to me, is kind of floating. It can also kind of become a way of numbing out and really not dealing with life. So I like to talk to people about, having one finger up there and having a foot down on the ground. It's kind of that feeling of being still connected to both places, to both realms. But as we start to step into that higher vibration, I like to think of this vibration as our human energy is a lower vibration. We all connect on that human level. As we step out of that and step up to that next level is where we step into that higher self. And then even a level up from that is the spirit world. And then even a level up higher than that is where our guides are at. So if you can think of it like a stepping stool up, that's where that high vibration comes in for our guides. That's where we can really connect with them, is on that level of really connecting into that higher vibration. So it's really important to understand that they are high vibing beings, and they're really on that higher level. As you start setting with them in meditation and understanding them, you'll understand what I'm talking about. Maybe even step into that feeling. Sometimes we see things when we're in that vibration. You can, with your eyes closed, I've been in that vibration. I have felt that. I have felt like the sun coming in, even though my eyes were closed, I could see the sun coming in for me. It feels really good and warm to be in that energy. It's not a scary place to be, is what I'm trying to say. There's nothing scary about it. It's a beautiful, loving energy that we can really step into and immerse ourselves into. So as we step into that, this is where we can meet our guide team. This is where we can go to really step into that vibration, really start asking them questions, having them come in for us. I love it when I teach this, because I teach people to really have each individual guide come in and get to know each individual guide on their own terms and really their own personalities. Our guides have personalities. Like I mentioned before, some of them want to have a name. Some of them are happy with a name. Some of them don't care, but they'll give a name out just so that you're happy with it, because us as humans think differently than they do. They know those names are important for us. And so, this is where we can get that information. We can start asking for names and start asking what they do for us, how they help us, what's their role here for us, and how can we work with them better. This really is an individual journey for everyone. There really isn't a one size fits all. That's why I say, can your grandparent or somebody be your guide? Yes and no. But usually these main guides for us are these high vibing, high vibration, really loving souls who understand us on such a deep level, even better than we ever will even know ourselves. And they're here to help us understand that part of us and help us to stay within our purpose, do the things that we came here to do, heal from the things we came here to heal, and really work on having an experience here. So as we step into that higher vibration, one thing that I like to remind you of, it can be very overwhelming at first, not scary, just kind of overwhelming. So as you come out of this meditation or setting with them, it's important to ground yourself again, eat some chocolate. When I first started working with that, I said eat chocolate. When I first started working with them, I would keep dark chocolate at my desk or in my office or in my meditation room. And I would have a piece of dark chocolate when I would come out of that meditation with them to help kind of bring your vibration down. Because what really happens is our vibration gets raised up and they lower theirs just a smidgen so that we can meet somewhere there in the middle. Most of us cannot stay in that. We're not spirit here. We have a physical body. I mean, we are spirit, but we have this physical body that is heavy and dense at times. This is why doing your healing work is so important, because as you do your healing work, it releases that denseness and allow you to become lighter and lighter and lighter, more so that you can step into the spiritual realm. You can feel those feelings deeper. When you're caught up in a lot of heaviness in your physical world, it might be harder for you to connect with your guide. You might have a hard time because you're not in that vibration. To me, healing work, what it means for me is really letting go of this dense, heavy emotions and learning to step into that higher vibration. And I want to spend all the time that I can in that higher vibration. And we don't do it by staying in our shit. This is one of the reasons that I stopped doing mediumship full time. There was a big reason behind it, because I am so in love with intuitive healing. I see the value in it and I understand what it does for us. And if I can help people heal that part of their lives, they can step into this other part all by themselves. And I won't say that I don't do mediumship at all. I do not offer straight mediumship readings anymore, because every time I would go do a reading, I would have spirit asking me to do healing for them afterwards. it was great that we just had this magic conversation, but then I was going back in and doing intuitive healing for them anyway. And so for me, it just felt right for me to step back into that intuitive healer role. And I have plenty of people around me who do straight mediumship, and they're fabulous at it. And so I allow them to do that part. I help people rise out of the shit so that they can go and hear the messages from their spirit. Even when we go and do mediumship readings, it's important to be in the right vibration. I remember doing a whole lot of mediumship readings where they wouldn't hear a word that was said because they were so caught up in this lower vibration, this lower density, that they missed so much that came out of those readings. And so to me, this is where healing comes in, and really healing our soul, healing our vibration, healing ourselves so that we can rise out of the muck and really step back into that spiritual role. I believe for me, one of my purposes here is to learn to live in spirit in the physical world, live in that high vibration, live it, really talk about it, live it, do it, and still have a physical body. I know I'm probably not going to be all the way up there, but that's kind of has been one of my purposes since I've learned about intuitive healing, is really letting go of the muck and the suffering and all these things that go on. And my guides are here to help me do that. And I believe that we all kind of have that same, maybe not to that same extent, but I believe we all kind of have that same type of goals or desires once we learn about these kind of things in healing. So really our guides are here to help us step up and step into that. So as we learn and set with each one of our guides, you can also discover what's called a calling card. Every guide has a calling card, so to speak. This calling card is kind of their sign to let you know that they're with you. So it can be as simple as my nose twitches every time I sit down and step into my meditation. I have someone who my nose is like itchy or twitchy, or I've had people who their ears feel warm, their body gets a warm sensation, they feel someone touch them on their shoulder, or they get shivers down their back. Each one of our guides in our main guide team and even our spirit family can have this calling card. In order to learn how that works for us, we must take time to set in a meditation so that you can learn what their calling card is for you. And we do it for all of our guides, for all of our guide team, for family. First, maybe your grandma is part of your guide team and you smell her perfume every time she comes in. Maybe grandpa had some crazy cologne, or maybe he worked on a farm and he smelled like cow shit all the time, and you smell that. So, it's just learning, oh my gosh, when I smell this means that, or when I feel this means that. Whatever it is for you, there are different things. It's not the same for everyone. This is the part that you can't really teach to anyone. They have to get that information for themselves. And I am teaching a class here really soon. And in that, I'm going to guide you through the steps that you need to do so that you can learn to connect with each one of your guides. And so I think when I've done this in the past, when I've taught mediumship, when I've just talked about spirits and guides, doing guide work, I teach this all the time. I love teaching people how, not just telling them this is what's going to happen, but really allowing them to experience it for themselves. Because this type of work, just like learning your intuition and doing all these things, this type of work, we have to learn to do it for ourselves. No one can do this part for you. So it's really interesting when you start realizing, oh my gosh, my nose twitches every time I step down and I desire to connect with my guides. My stomach does a flip-flop. My hair, I feel someone stroking my hair. Whatever it is for you, there's a million different things that can happen. But we have to be quiet. We have to get quiet within ourselves, slow our mind down, and allow this process to happen for us. In this class, I'm going to teach that to you, and it's going to be recorded so you can go back later and do it again for each one of your guides and allow them to come in for you. allow them to show you what their calling card is. We specifically ask for them to just show you or help you feel it or see it or know it, however you get that information, what their calling card is for you. So it's really cool to uncover that. That is such a big part of knowing and understanding how our guide team works with us. So I hope that has been helpful for you. Really step into your higher vibration, really learn to, this is where your healing work is important. Do your healing work, connect with those guides. To me, my biggest aha moments have been when I have allowed myself the time and the space to really connect with my guides, to work with my guides, and allow them to be part of my life every single day. I think it's important that we allow them to come in and work with us. This is how we grow, literally. I remember, I'll tell you a story real quick before we end here for today. I remember when I was really getting into guide work and I was really into mediumship. I had done my mediumship training. I hadn't done my teacher training yet, but it was kind of in between that. And I remember my guides nudging me, telling me that I needed to go out on social media and I needed to start talking and sharing my information. And that girl back then did not have the courage and strength she has today. I basically told my guides they could go shove that up their ass. And I wasn't having any of it. I wasn't going to do it. There was no way. I was still living in that fear of leaving the Mormon church, having people in my faith judge me for who I am and for what I did. I was still living in just a lot of fear and was just in a really, I was growing, but I was still in a lot of fear. And I remember I went, and I talk about this in my book. If you haven't read my book, it's kind of my story of stepping into mediumship. But I talked about this in my book where I finally went to one of my mentors and I said, look, this is what I'm being told to do. What do I do? And she looked right at me and said, Gina, when spirit talks, you need to listen. And I just wanted to smack her. I wanted her to say, no, you're scared. Maybe you're not ready. Maybe you need to do something else. Maybe. And so I did. I took a plunge. And I remember that's when I started my group. I decided to do it in a way that I felt safe because I still needed some safety and security. So I started a group where, people had to be invited. It was kind of a private group. And I just started there and I really started working my way through. And it has been one of the best things. It's evolved a lot since then. That was several years ago. I started out as Gina Stroll Medium. Now I've moved into Gina Stroll Intuitive Healing. It's evolved over the years, but it really has been one of the best things that I could have done for myself. It was one of the biggest growth spurts I've probably ever had. It was scary to start talking in a public platform about mediumship and spirits and grounding and, really stepping into intuition. And it was scary for me to start talking about all those crazy woo-woo things that nobody's talking about. But when we listen to our guides, when we listen to our spirit team, that's when amazing things will happen. And if I had chosen not to do that, I wouldn't be here sitting here today. I've said that a million times. I would not be here today. I would still be sitting in my fear. I would still be that small person. And I think of all the people that I have been able to work with since then, and I wouldn't take any of it back. So sometimes we might be asked to do hard things, but it's so important to listen to our guide team. They know us better than we know ourselves, and they allow us to be ourselves while pushing us and nudging us. And this is what I do in my business because I know the importance of pushing people just a little bit, not too much, not over the edge, but pushing you and nudging you just enough to get you to step out and have a little more courage, a little more strength, a little more loving compassion for yourself while still pushing you beyond what you think your limits are. And I love doing that for people. I love this little back and forth game we kind of play because it's kind of, I'm pushing and you're kind of retreating, but eventually we come around to where, oh, that's not such a big deal. And we leap and then we do it again. That's what the cool part about intuitive healing, really doing this work that I love so much. So I hope this has been helpful. Spend some time really connecting with your guides. If you want some more information on this, come and join me in my class. I'm also now offering private sessions to connect with your guides. I will help you specifically. We will walk through it. I'll talk you through it. You can get all the information that you need. You can do these sessions as many times as you want. There's no limit on them. We'll do one guide or whoever chooses to come through. It's kind of, really tailored to your needs when you sign up. So there's those two opportunities for you. I would love to help you meet your guides. I would love to help you get started creating a new relationship with them. So I hope this has been helpful for you. Enjoy the rest of your day. Really connect with your guide team. You're going to love it. I promise you. So thank you for being here today. Thank you for listening. And we will see you all again very soon. Bye-bye.
I sincerely hope you enjoyed today's episode. I love connecting with my people. So if you would like to get in touch with me, you can email me at ginastroll@ginastroll.com. You can find me on Facebook and Instagram and on YouTube as Gina Stroll Intuitive Healing. And of course, if you have any interest in anything that we talked about today, all of my stuff is available on my website at ginastroll.com. And again, thank you for joining me, and I can't wait for us to connect up again. Have a great day.